Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I'll be making these earrings and necklace. I'll begin by rolling out a large ball of black clay and a large ball of white clay, and then a smaller version of each of those. I'll start with the two larger balls and place the two smaller balls aside. And with each of these, I will just roll them out until they're still pretty thick. And they're about that thick each. With the smaller balls, I will roll them out until they are very thin. You can also use a pasta machine if you have one, but I just did it with my roller and it worked just as good. And they're pretty thin as I can get them with my roller. Then with the two thicker pieces, I will place each of those on top of the thinner piece. You want to put a thick black to the thin white, and then the thick white to the thin black, and then just press it on there until it is nice and stuck together. You can also give it a gentle roll. And then just cut off the excess clay around both of them. And I do want to mention that I have started another YouTube channel where I make ASMR videos. If you are interested in checking that out, I will leave a link in the description box below. And the name of that channel is ASMR Nightly Tingles. And don't worry, I'll still be making clay videos too, because I love it. And then I would just cut one side of each of your pieces of clay. And this is so that we can match them up in a moment and they are flush against each other. The other side really won't matter. You just need the two sides to be nice and flat that touch each other. And be sure to put the two sides that are thick together and the two sides that are thin together. And you'll want the thin sides to be facing up and the thick sides on the bottom. And then just gently place those together. You don't have to be forceful with it. You do want that line down the middle to be rather straight. And then just gently pat that all together, and you can give it a nice gentle roll with your roller if you wish. And then flip it over and do the same to the back side. And this is the stencil I'm going to use. It's a very unique looking, and it has a couple different patterns on there. You will want your clay to be with the thin sides up and the thick sides down when placing this on. And then just place your stencil on there however you want it to look, and then just gently press it into place. And then just gently roll it first, and then begin pressing a little bit harder with each roll. You do want the clay to come up and through the stencil so that we can shave that away in just a moment. If you don't go deep enough, you won't have enough to shave away to get the color underneath to show through. And I feel like I've pressed it pretty close at this point, but we'll start shaving it off and see what we have underneath. Want to see if the black is coming through on the white side and the white is coming through on the black side. And I also want to let you know that I do have some holiday themed jewelry and or necklaces coming through for the holiday season. And I will have 30 videos for the month of December. So I hope you check those out once they start releasing. I'll actually have the first one released on the last day of November, and it will go until December 25th. So please check those out and let me know what you think. And now that I have shaved away all of that excess clay coming through the top, I'll gently peel back that stencil to reveal the magical beauty that's underneath. And here it is. A nice black to white, negative to positive kind of a look here, and I really like it. For the backing, I'll just take some of this black clay and roll it out, and you'll want it to be pretty thick. And then I will place that on the back side of my clay that I had the stencil on. You just want to make sure that is firmly in place, just giving it a nice gentle pat and a very gentle roll with the roller. Very gentle. You can cut away any excess around the edges. At this point, you can make whatever you want. I'm just going to start cutting out random shapes for a necklace and then also some shapes for some earrings. And these are just working on the earrings part. I really like the way this pattern came out. Now that I have all my pieces here, I'll just start kind of assembling everything. For my earrings, I do want to make a little hole in the center of the little circle, and then I'll put that on the top for the earrings. And then for the rest of it here, I have laid out my necklace in the shape and pattern I want it to look. So I have all my beads placed where I want them to be on my necklace. And these are my earrings, and I have a little bead for the earrings and then the little top piece. I'll just begin placing in the eye hooks. For now, I'm just going to poke or pre-poke the holes where the eye hooks will hang. And of course, my videos aren't complete unless I drop a piece of clay. And I'll put that aside and do the same with the second one. And then I'll continue on and making my little holes in my necklace pieces too. And the two small circles that I have with no hole in the middle, I will place a eye hook or a stick pin all the way through the middle so it comes out the other side, so that I can put my string all the way through the middle once I string it after baking. And with the three larger circles, I'll just make a hole in one side, not going all the way through, but just piercing it a little bit so that I can put the string in there after it's baked. And then I will put another one directly across on the other side. Again, not going all the way through to the center, but just about halfway through. And I'll repeat with the other two circles that I have. And then these are the top part of my earrings. And I'm just going to pre-poke where my eye hook hole will be. And then also on the back side where my earring will dangle from. And before I bake, I'm going to take a little bit of this powder, some old makeup powders that I have. And I will just lightly brush it all over the surface of the clay. And it'll give it a nice little gauzy kind of a shimmer to it. I'll do that with all of the pieces, both front and back sides of those. I'm going to pre-poke the eye hook hole area. It was a little booger and it didn't want to go all the way through, but I showed it who was boss and eventually got it through. And I'm just going to assemble it. Then I did bake them. I apologize, I forgot to mention that. I'm just going to make my eye hook at the top. I placed on a bead in between the earring and the eye hook at the top and give it a nice little something something, I think. I really like using beads in my work. I think it adds a lot to the pieces. Let me know what you think. If you've done anything similar, do you like to mix clay and beads? And then of course, you want to make sure everything is glued into place so that nothing comes falling out. And I will now resin a little bit of the end of my stem, stick, or wire that I will put into my necklace. And once I have that stuck inside of there, I will use a tiny little black light that I have to cure that into place. And now that it's stuck inside of there, I will start putting on my beads. Until I get to the next piece. And with that, I will do the same. I want to make sure that the string is going to go all the way to the end there, and it does. Before I glue it in, or use this resin to glue it into the next piece, I'm going to resin my clay pieces and then cure them. This will keep the mica powders or makeup powders all in place so that it does not wash off or rub off with time. If you don't put any on yours, then you don't have to resin if you don't want to. And then I will continue stringing my beads back on there. And that's a flyaway bead. And you can cut away any excess clay that won't fit into that hole so that it fits flush against your clay with your beads. Just going to use this tool to kind of hold it in place to be able to press it into that tiny little hole on the side. And it fits in there nicely, so I'm just going to put a little bit of resin on there. And then place it back on the clay, and then I will cure it with my tiny little UV light. And then I will resin the top of that and the bottom will continue on with the cycle, putting on the beads and making sure that the string goes into the ends of the clay, and then make sure there's good resin on there, and then cure that. You just continue on until you reach the end, or as long as you want your necklace to be. Then I put on a crimp bead, and I put on a crimp bead cover. Then you'll just want to add on a jump ring, and then your toggle on one side and your little clasp on the other. And now I will just string the other side, doing the same that I did to the opposite side. Be sure you resin before completely assembling. Just putting the finishing touches on here, making sure I have everything resined. And here you go. I hope you enjoyed. I did. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.